I never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tell me to someone who will love me. Yeah, wait, I think I'll last a bit longer. Find another.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Today we're going to be talking about college football once again. But before I get into today's topic, let me first say that I've got a shout out coming up at the end of the video. So please stay tuned for that. Now on to today's topic. I figured since we've been discussing college football a lot lately, I would go ahead and do this video. I did one last year, so I figured it was time to go ahead and do one again this year, and that is college football head coaches on the hot seat as we head into the 2022 college football season. Now, these are not in any particular order. It's just coaches that I feel like are on the hot seat. And as we go, I'm going to tell you the coach's record at the current school, not their overall record, because some of these coaches are coaching at their first ever school, but some of these coaches have coached at other schools before, so I won't give you their overall record. It'll be their record at the current school. Number one on the list is Scott Frost. And so far at Nebraska, he is 15-29, which is absolutely horrible. And he was on my list heading into last season. And for whatever reason, their athletic director decided to give him one more season. Now, a lot of people are saying this just because he played quarterback there. And since he's such a beloved person at the university, they're giving him extra time. But I have a feeling if they have another 3 or 4 win season, he'll be gone. But bringing in Mark Whipple from Pittsburgh to be the new OC should help out some. Number 2 on the list is Brian Harsin. Now, he's only been at Auburn for 1 year, and he went 6-7. But there was a lot of people that wanted him gone after the season was over. So if he comes out this year and has another 5 or 6 win season, he'll probably be gone. And a lot of the experts and insiders are already predicting that they're going to be pretty bad this year. Number 3 is Karl Dorrell, who is the current head coach at Colorado. He is 8-10 so far at Colorado. Colorado is one of them schools that it seems like for the past 25 or 30 years, about every 4 or 5 years, they're changing head coaches. Mike McIntyre was there not too long ago and had one great season, and then they turned around and fired him the very next season. They just cannot be what they were in the early 90s, and they want so bad to get there, but they don't give any coach enough time to even attempt to be able to get there. Number 4 is Scott Satterfield, who is 18-19 so far at Louisville. Now, that's right at 500, which is pretty much what he does every year. He had one really good season, one really bad season, and this past season they were just average. But he's already interviewed for other head coaching jobs that he did not get. So he's wanting out, and Louisville is just not going to fire him because he's not a bad coach, but for whatever reason, his heart is just not in that program. So since he wants out, more than likely, if they have a 4 or 5 win season this year, they'll probably fire him. And then number 5 is Herm Edwards at Arizona State. He is 25-18 so far, but of course, that great quarterback they've had the last couple of years has transferred, so we don't know what they're going to have at the quarterback position this year. But ever since Herm Edwards has been there, supposedly they've been cheating, so they're looking for a reason to get rid of him. But since he's actually winning, they have not been able to do it as of yet. The next coach on the list is Dino Babers, who so far at Syracuse is 29-43. That record is absolutely terrible, especially considering when you look at it, and they had 1 year where they almost had double-digit wins. But outside of that 1 year, they've just been below average, below standard. Now, my personal opinion is he's getting all these extra years because for whatever reason, with the exception of the one season where Clemson blanked them and just beat the dog doo-doo out of them, for whatever reason, when Syracuse plays Clemson, most of the time the game is close. So it's hard to get rid of your coach when he's playing the best team in the conference, or at least one of the best teams in the conference every year. He's playing them better than anybody else is. If he could find a way to play everybody else as good as he plays Clemson, he could probably win more games. But they'll play Clemson, and Clemson will be a top 10 team, and Syracuse will be a 2-win team, and they'll lose to Clemson by a touchdown. But then they'll turn around and go play Duke, and they lose to Duke. I don't know what he's doing, but he somehow, some way, finds a way to play Clemson close almost every year, but he plays everybody else like crap. The next coach on the list is Seth Littrell, who is the coach at North Texas. He is 37-38. Now, he is probably on the hot seat, but it's North Texas, so if he got fired tomorrow, I don't think anybody would know. Next on the list is Rick Stockstill, and just like Seth Littrell, if he got fired tomorrow, I don't think anybody would know. But Rick Stockstill is the coach of the Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders. He has 101 wins as their head coach. He pretty much wins 6 or 7 games and loses 6 or 7 games every single year. But of course, he is almost at the age of retirement, so if he was to be let go by MTSU, he may just call it a career. The next coach on the list is Jeff Scott. Now, Jeff Scott used to be the co-offensive coordinator at Clemson, and people always thought that when he left Clemson to be a head coach, he was going to be a successful head coach, and so far it's been the complete exact opposite. He's 3-18 so far at South Florida, which is about as bad as you can be. The next coach on the list is another Jeff, or as I call him, Geoff, because it's spelled differently, but Jeff Collins. Of course, the Georgia Tech head coach is 9-25. He wins 3 games every year, and they're picked to win 3 games again this year. And the last coach on my list is David Shaw. Now, for a lot of people, that's surprising because if you look at his record there, he's 93-45, which means he wins over 2/3 of his games, and that's pretty doggone good. But when he took over at Stanford, when Jim Harbaugh left, they were a top 5 or top 10 team every year for almost a decade. But now it seems like they're just progressively getting worse every single year. So another 5 or 6 win season, and David Shaw, as good as his record is, he may be out the door at Stanford. But he was one of those guys that for the longest time, he was winning so much at Stanford, his name always came up every offseason that he was in talks with all these big-time programs. But now, if you look at his record the past 4 or 5 years, and you're thinking, well, no wonder nobody actually wanted him. But, of course, a lot of times when you hear those rumors, you don't really know how much truth there is to it, because a lot of times these coaches have not talked to anybody. It's just something their agents say to try to get them a raise at their current school. So you don't really know how much truth there is to that. But back when he first took over at Stanford and they were a top 5 team every year, going to the Rose Bowl about every year, every single time a big time program had an opening, David Shaw might go, David Shaw might go. And now all of a sudden, you don't hear that stuff anymore. Any thoughts on any of these coaches, please feel free to let me know. Any coaches you feel like should be added to the list, please feel free to let me know. My shout out today goes out to my man, Tim Cook, who lives in Alabama. He subscribed to the channel yesterday afternoon. Tim, thank you so much for subscribing. Tell your friends, tell your family. Help the channel continue to grow. Give the video a thumbs up. And I know I've already announced this, but I'll say it one more time. Tomorrow night, 1681 Shirley Road, Royston, Georgia. Come out and be with us for some great independent wrestling action. It is the Graybell Auction debut of UWF Wrestling. So if you live in the general area, I expect to see you tomorrow night at 1681 Shirley Road, Royston, Georgia, for some great UWF wrestling. Yes, I will be there as a referee. Doors open at 6 and bell time will be 7 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. What did the carpenter say when he finished building his house? Nailed it. And that wraps it up for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.